Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Social English Podcast. It is awesome to have you. Today, we're going to talk about WITH versus WIDTH and how to pronounce them. Next on the Social English Podcast.
皆さんこんにちは。毎日少しずつ社交に使える英語の上達を目指すソーシャルイングリッシュポッドキャストへようこそ。今日はぜひもっと自信を持って英会話してみましょう。Are you ready, Percy? Let's go!
Thank you, Hikari, for that awesome introduction. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Social English Podcast. Today on the podcast, we're going to do something a little bit different. I have a person who is asking me about how to pronounce a word. This word is a little difficult, so I will explain it for you. Okay? So that is the difference between WITH with and WIDTH. Okay? So I'll get to that right after this.
今日はクイズをしましょう。この単語を英語で理解できるかどうかをテストする準備はできていますか？今日、私たちは別のこれはどういう意味ですか？エピソード。今日、私たちは現代の本物の話し言葉の英語で使われている単語やフレーズを教えます。エピソードの終わりまで聞いてください。あなたは今日あなたが学んだことに驚くでしょう。始めましょ
う。Okay, most of the time, people ask me to help correct their English. But sometimes they ask me to correct or explain how to pronounce a word. Today, we have such an occasion. So there are two words, with and width, okay? I know that sometimes it's difficult to hear the difference between the two words, okay? Which is why I want to read to you a little bit about the two words. So that way you understand what the meaning is and you could understand the difference. Okay? So let's get started with that. Okay. So June asks me this. His message reads, "Could you teach me how to pronounce width? And is there any differences for pronunciation between with and width?" Okay, so first, let's talk about the two words. The word with, okay, with, that is WITH. The meaning is accompanied by another person or thing, like a steak with a glass of wine. A steak with a glass of wine. Okay? So that's with. Just so you are clear, and please listen to how I pronounce these. The second word that's close, very close, is width. 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 W-I-D-T-H. Okay? So that's width. Now, what is this? The meaning is the measurement of something from side to side. So, to measure something side by side. The house was about 20 meters in width. Okay? Side to side measure 20 meters. Okay? So that is what width means. Okay? Now, the problem is, how are we pronouncing this? I have two tips for you, okay? The two tips are this. Try to listen to the conversation. The words, 2 or 3 words before, with, or width, should tell you what the person is talking about. So let's use those same examples and change it around. I'm having a steak with a glass of wine. I'm having a steak with a glass of wine. Now, that is the wrong width. Okay, that is the wrong way, because the sound is missing the D sound. And I'll go into pronunciation right after this, so please listen. That is next. Let's look at the other example. The house was about 20 meters in width. The house was about 20 meters in width. Okay, so this sentence does not make any sense in width, okay? Because it just, with what? With what, okay? Now, this is very, very important. When you look at the words with and width, you can see that width has a D. Okay? But in conversational English and in social English, sometimes it's hard for people learning English to hear the D between I and T in width. Okay? There is a D between I and T. So, I will explain to you why. Okay? When you listen for width, okay? Listen for that sound, W-I-D-T-H, with, with. Now, when you hear with, with, okay, you're hearing the WITH without the D. Okay, so when you hear a native speaker, okay, English as a first language, especially from normal first language countries of English, sometimes you have to pay close attention. Be careful. Okay? So tip 1 was understand and listen to the sound or the words before, with, or with. Okay? Now, I think for my second tip, number 2, how to understand the difference between with and width. Okay, with and width is that you should practice saying it yourself, my listeners. I want you to try saying it. But first, wait a moment. Chotomate. Just a moment. I want to tell you the trick. With, W-I-T-H, with, the with, I want this with this. Steak with rice. Hamburger with French fries. Okay? Potatoes with ketchup. Okay? Cereal with milk. This with, the tongue with will go front with and touch your teeth and then go back with. So your tongue will touch your teeth from the front or the top of your teeth and go back with. Okay? Your tongue in your mouth. Your tongue will touch your teeth, the front, and go back with. Now, W-I-D-T-H, with. So your tongue will be back first with, because your tongue going back will make the D sound. And then it goes with, then it goes to the front to touch your teeth. Okay? So with. Your tongue and the D sound, your tongue is in the back first. Okay, so with, your tongue either it goes straight out to the front. Okay, so think about two steps. W-I-T-H. Your tongue, step 1, the tongue goes to the front of the mouth and touches the teeth with, and then it goes back like a snake, with. But W-I-D-T-H, with, the tongue is in the back first. Then it goes to the front, okay? So W-I-T-H, tongue in the front, then goes back. W-I-D-T-H, tongue in the back, then it goes to the front. Okay? So, that's my second tip. That's tip number 2. Okay. Tip number 3. Practice using both of those sentences, both of those words in sentences yourself. Okay? Practice using with and with. I went to the restaurant with my friend. I ate cake with my sister. I had pizza with water. Now, try the other one. Width. W-I-D-T-H. The width of my iPhone is 2 centimeters. The width of my table is 2 meters. The width of my car is 3 meters. Okay? So practice using those with and width in sentences, and remember the tongue and where the tongue should be when you are speaking. Okay? That's going to help you understand the difference between the two words. Okay? And now, lastly, tip number 4 is listening practice. Okay? Go to youglish.com, youglish, and I want you to type in with, W-I-T-H, and listen to the examples of with on Youglish. When the person says with, look at their face, look at their mouth, and see how they make the sounds and the word with their mouth. Okay? All right. Next, go to width. Type in WIDTH in youglish.com and watch several videos and watch the person pronounce width. Remember what I said about the tongue being in the back of the mouth, then going to the front and touching the teeth. Think about that as you watch people pronounce width. Okay? That will help you understand and really learn the difference between how the two words sound. The difference between with, W-I-T-H, and width, W-I-D-T-H. Okay? So, that is it on width and width.
このショーを気に入っていただけたら5つ星のレビューをぜひお願いします。
Okay, everybody, that's going to do it for today's episode of the Social English Podcast. Now, let me review quickly the 3 things. Okay. For width and width. Number 1, think about the words in front and the words behind with or with, so you could understand what the sentence is talking about and the meaning. 2, understand that the tongue goes to the back of the mouth, then to the front in W-I-D-T-H, width. 3, try to use with and width in different sentences so you yourself can understand how they are different. say one sentence in using with. I went to the doctor with my mother. And then use a sentence with with. I have an iPhone and it has a width of 2 centimeters. Something like that. Okay? Tip number 4. Now that you have practiced with and with yourself, go to Youglish, youglish.com, where you can listen to both the differences from WITH with and WIDTH with. You can see the difference between the two by watching people's face and how they pronounce with and with. Okay? This will help you get better at hearing and understanding the differences in the two. Okay? Well, that's awesome. And I want to tell you, another show that would really help you pronouncing English very well is you should listen to Coffee Break English. Coffee Break English can help you learn English every single day, just like this podcast. Okay? With that being said, thank you for listening to today's podcast. I appreciate you. Thank you for listening once more. Oh, and please leave a review on Apple Podcasts. It really helps us out. And you could visit our website at realsocialenglish.com. I'll see you in the next episode. Peace and love.
今日は楽しい時間をありがとうございました。ぜひ私たちのウェブサイト realsocialenglish.com を訪問して日本語訳と役立つ情報を手に入れてください。また次回お会いしましょう。バイバイ。See you next time. Bye bye.